Tell me who is better off. Person A, who has a $0 net worth, or person B, who has a $100,000 net worth? Pretty easy, right? I'd say person B. This is not a trick question. Now, how about this? Person A, who has a $100,000 net worth, but who is stuck in scarcity mode and very unsure about their financial future, or person B, who also has a $100,000 net worth, but they have an abundant mindset, a healthy relationship with money, and a lot of confidence in their financial system. Still pretty easy, right? Person B, not a trick question. Now, I bet I could even increase the amount that person A has. Maybe they have a $150,000 net worth, but there's a chance you might still pick person B as being better off. So that second person has what I call big wealth energy. Big wealth energy is a phrase that I coined because I needed language for something that I kept seeing over and over again. That wealth is not just about the numbers. It's also about how you feel while building it and how you feel once you have it. Big wealth energy combines two things: the practical, logistical side of money, like your systems, the actual money that you have, and the emotional side, your mindset, your confidence, and your beliefs about money. Because if you don't have that second part, 6 figures, even 7 figures, 8 figures, wouldn't feel like enough. You'd still feel like something was missing or that something wasn't right. So if big wealth energy is something that you want, let's talk about how you can build it. Hello and welcome. If you are new here, my name is Lissa. I'm a certified financial planner. I'm an accredited financial counselor, and I am the creator of Hello Money Bootcamp. I want to see more of you building wealth, especially women of color who have historically been looked over when it comes to money and wealth. Everybody's welcome here. We're not excluding people. We are working to include people who have always been marginalized. So let's first talk about this big wealth energy. I gave you a bit of the definition already, but let's dig into it a little bit more. What is big wealth energy? This is a concept that I came up with because it encapsulates what I think are two critical sides to wealth. It's not just how much money you have, but it's also how you feel about it. The practical side of your finances, budgeting, saving, investing, your credit, and all of that, but also your money mindset, your confidence, your emotional resilience, the beliefs you have about money. It's your relationship with money and whether or not you feel abundance or scarcity. Most people who talk about personal finances only focus on one or the other. But true financial security, the kind that feels grounded and that makes you feel powerful, only happens when both sides are working together. In my experience as a financial planner and a counselor, I've worked with people who make 6 figures, who have lots of money, and still feel broke. And I've worked with people who don't earn a lot, but they feel secure. They enjoy their lifestyle. They feel in control. They feel like they have a long-term plan when it comes to money. That's the difference big wealth energy makes. Now, I want you to have a lot of wealth, but also feel good about it. And I want to be clear, just because I use the word energy doesn't mean this is simply about vibes and manifestation. That's part of it for sure, but it's truly about backing up your intentions with systems, with strategy, and a lot of self-awareness. Sometimes also spreadsheets. But real talk, it's about feeling like you belong in the financial space. It's about feeling confident about financial decisions or where to go to get help to make financial decisions, even if you never learned this in the past, even if you weren't raised with financial literacy. I know for me, coming from an immigrant family that didn't have a lot of money, we were in survival mode. We were focused on how to get by, how to have the bare necessities in life, plus a little bit of nice things here and there. I went to public schools my whole life, and I didn't come from a lot of money. So I did not learn about the vast world of personal finance. I learned the basics of what I needed to get by. And that was work hard, earn money, save money, and then, eventually buy a house. But to me, that is the long path. I've learned since then that that is sometimes not a dependable path. There's a lot of layoffs that happen. We're taught how to consume and spend money, but not taught how to build wealth. While I feel like most people have to go on that path, at least for some phase in life, I think that path rarely gets you in a good place where you have both sides of big wealth energy. It's very hard to improve the practical aspects of your finances and to improve your relationship with money if you're limited with the amount of resources you have. If you're stuck in cycles of earning money and then spending it, and then earning money and then spending it. So big wealth energy is about how do you proactively take control of your finances, and not just the practical side of going down a checklist of to-dos, but also how do you feel good about it? How do you feel confident about it? So let's break down those two sides even further. The practical side, the money side. This is the obvious side of personal finances, right? A lot of my videos talk about this side, and a lot of personal finance channels and other resources talk about this side. These are the practical things that you can do to improve your finances. Generally, it requires some financial education and building up your financial literacy. And then beyond that, it's taking those learnings and implementing them into your life, into your financial system. So if you can learn different elements of finance and then take actions on your finances, you can get your financial life to a pretty good place when it comes to the practical side of things. Now, I know it's not easy. There are a lot of moving parts when it comes to your finances. And like I mentioned earlier, a lot of us don't learn financial literacy in school. So it can seem overwhelming, right? You have to learn how to manage money. You have to learn how to earn money and then try to make more. You have to learn how to budget, how to save money, how to spend it strategically. You have to learn how to manage your credit and how to manage debt at times. There are more complex elements to your finances, like your tax strategy and investing strategy, and some more straightforward elements like simply paying your bills on time. But if you take a step back and look at all these things, ultimately, these are all things that can be learned. Even if you didn't learn personal finance in school, chances are you have access to this information. There are books, there are YouTube channels like mine, and there are hopefully people in your life that you can also ask for help. In my humble opinion, I actually think the practical side of personal finances is the easier side. I know it can feel like a lot of stuff, but there are still general blueprints that you can follow to get to a place of getting your money organized. There are things you can try, steps you can take to make more, to save more, to invest more, to pay off debt. So while I can't cover every single practical tip of personal finances in one video, I'm going to give you a few examples of what you can do to improve that practical side of your big wealth energy. 1, know your numbers. You cannot build your big wealth energy if you don't know where you stand financially. Start by calculating your net worth and your cash flow, and get an idea of where your finances stand. Your net worth is an indicator of your overall financial picture. How much you own minus how much you owe. It gives you a baseline and you can track against it to see your progress over time. Your cash flow is a little different, but it's probably more important on a day-to-day basis. It tells you how much money comes in versus how much goes out. And if you can spend less than you bring in, it means you have extra money you can dedicate towards various wealth building activities like saving, investing, paying off debt. These are the things that I often talk about on my channel, but if you want some links to some free Google spreadsheets to calculate these numbers, check the description and I'll drop the links in there. Now, another thing you can do for the practical side of your big wealth energy is to stop over saving. I know that sounds wild because a lot of times we personal finance experts are like, you gotta save more money. You're spending too much. Now, not saving enough is pretty obvious. You probably know when you don't have enough money saved. But another element of your finances is making sure you don't oversave. That is, put too much money in savings accounts. For example, once you have an emergency fund, once you have short-term savings funds, you want to start considering using your extra money towards other financial goals, like paying down debt more aggressively or investing your money. Big wealth energy is knowing that excess money sitting in checking and savings accounts ends up losing value due to inflation. Another practical thing you can do for your big wealth energy is to build systems, not just habits, but systems. So good money habits are great to build, right? You can build good spending habits, good budgeting and tracking habits, but I want you to think about your overall system. For example, how can you use automation for your savings, your debt payments, and even your investments? The more that's automated, the less time and energy that you're going to spend on working on your various financial foundations. If you can make your financial system efficient, you're more likely to stick to it. Another quick example of building your system is to be clear about your rules. I'm very big on setting rules for yourself, and the best part is you get to choose your own rules. So, for example, are you the kind of person who is okay with spending money spontaneously, even if you didn't plan for it? If that's the case, that's totally fine. I'm not going to stop you. But you want to make sure that you are also the kind of person who sets extra money aside for such things. Even if you don't know what it's going to be used for, maybe you set aside money in a fun bucket or in a flexible bucket that you know you can use spontaneously whenever you choose. So these are just a few practical things you can do for your finances that are going to improve your financial life and contribute to your big wealth energy. This is just a fraction, a tiny piece of all the things you can do. But what I want you to remember is there are always things that you can learn about and then do. The key is to not get overwhelmed, but to simply start somewhere and be consistent. Find things you can learn to improve your finances, try them and implement them into your life and your financial system, and hopefully you'll see progress on your finances over time. So we've talked about the practical side of your big wealth energy. Before we get into the emotional side, I want to quickly tell you about my brand new online course called Hello Money Bootcamp. It is a comprehensive course for beginners who want guidance on how to improve their finances. It teaches you about money with the perspective of not just building wealth, but building your big wealth energy. If you are interested, then check out the pinned comment below. All right, part 3. Let's talk about the emotional side. Now, I consider this the emotional side, but essentially it's your money mindset and your emotions around money. Think about everything related to your thoughts and feelings about money. It's your confidence about your financial plan and your journey. I think this is often the missing link. I mentioned this earlier, but I truly believe this is the hardest part when it comes to your finances. So on the practical side, I mentioned that a general tying theme is it's stuff that you can learn about and then implement. When it comes to the emotional side and your money mindset side, the tying factor with everything, what you're doing is essentially building self-awareness. To truly understand your relationship with money, you have to do some self-reflection, right? You have to ask yourself, what did I learn about money growing up? What was modeled for me? What do I believe money says about me? Who do I think gets to be wealthy? And do I include myself in that picture, or do I try to stay away from that because I don't want to be considered wealthy? For all of these questions, you have to build self-awareness. It is the first step before you can make some improvements in this area. Because if you have beliefs that tell you you are not worthy of wealth, that you're not capable of it, or that it's too late, it's going to be very hard to actually build wealth and feel wealthy if you have these beliefs and blockers. So if you already feel like you're in a good place with money, I think that's great. Maybe you don't even have to watch the rest of this video. I still urge you to watch the rest of it, but I'm just saying, not everyone struggles with their relationship with money. But if you want to continue your journey of healing with money, I'm going to give you a few examples of things you can do to improve your money mindset and the emotional side of your finances. The first is reframe your money story. Your money story is your narrative about money. It is your thoughts and feelings about money, your internal dialogue. And your money story is shaped by your past learnings, your past experiences, and oftentimes it stems back to your childhood. What I want you to know is that your past does not define your financial future. For those of you who might have grown up with financial instability, or were told that money is evil, or maybe you've just never had examples of wealth in your life or in your environment, I want you to know that you can change the script. Maybe at some point in life, you've thought,
I'm just not good with money.
Or,
no, we don't talk about that in my family.
Changing that script, Big Wealth Energy says, actually, yes, we do. So it's not about pretending your story didn't happen. It's about using that story to fuel your new decisions. You have to accept the idea that you are allowed to evolve. Number 2, unlearn financial shame. Whew. Shame is one of those things that is just tied to money so closely, so interconnected with money for a lot of people, especially for first-generation wealth builders. Big Wealth Energy means you need to start detaching yourself from any potential shame you might have. So a lot of people feel shame from feeling financially illiterate, not understanding basics like how to budget or how to save money, but also from not understanding the stock market no matter how many times they try to learn it. Some people feel shame from making bad financial decisions, maybe messing up their credit, getting into a lot of debt, or blowing a bunch of money and regretting it. It's fine to feel whatever you want to feel about those instances, but what you don't want to do is carry that shame with you and let it define you. You have to start believing that your self-worth does not equate to your net worth or the dollars in your bank account or to your credit score or to any other past financial decision that you've ever made. You're literally a human being, and finances, money, as much as it affects our day-to-day lives, it is a man-made social construct. So try to bring awareness to any areas where you might have some shame related to money and start to detach from it. Don't let it define you. All right, another thing you can do for the emotional side of your Big Wealth Energy is to do self-reflection. Every money move that you make is rooted in how you see yourself and what you believe is possible. Think about it. You would not try to save for a down payment on an investment property if you didn't believe it was possible to own property or to succeed in real estate investing. You wouldn't go for a job that pays double or triple your current salary if you didn't believe that you deserved it. So I want you to take some time to reflect on your financial upbringing, on your core money memories, and think about the scripts that you might be carrying around without even realizing it. Big Wealth Energy, that emotional side, comes from that self-awareness, from bringing attention to your financial patterns, from identifying the stuff that serves you and the things that don't serve you. Now, as you can see, this stuff, none of it is easy. So change is rarely going to happen overnight. But if you like this idea of Big Wealth Energy, of improving both your finances from a practical side as well as your relationship with money, I want you to simply start this journey or continue it. Continue evolving and accept that this is going to take some time. Something I always tell my clients is, if you do not have a good relationship with money now, how can you expect to have a good relationship with it when you double your net worth or more? As you grow more wealth, you're going to want to continue feeling good about it. Otherwise, you're just going to be chasing this thing, a moving target that you're never going to catch. So, to recap, I want to give you a quick definition. Financial security is defined as having enough resources to afford your living expenses, to save for the future, and to manage unexpected costs with confidence. Financial security then is about feeling financially stable and secure even when you are faced with financial challenges. So in a sense, this Big Wealth Energy that I'm talking about is an elevated version of financial security. It's truly getting your finances in order from the practical side as well as the emotional side, feeling good about it. Here is my challenge to you. I want you to find one thing this week that you feel is going to strengthen your financial confidence. Maybe it's negotiating a bill. Maybe it is reading a finance book by someone who looks like you. It could mean rewriting one narrative that you have about money, or simply identifying it. If you can start to find little actions you can take to build your big wealth energy, both the practical side of finances and the emotional side of it, your confidence with money will start to grow. And that growth is going to compound, just like the interest in your savings and investments. You simply have to start small. Let me know in the comments what part of big wealth energy you're working on this month, because I would love to hear from you. Until next time, peace out.